Surprise that once the misunderstanding with the villagers solved, you'll have lots of people wanting to claim you as their adorable Imoto. I'd happily call you Onisan, Takahiro, but lots of people in the village are super meanie pants. I just want to spend time with you and with Oni-sama. Oni-san, and who's to say I don't want to be called darling instead? What? The darling? I don't know if I'm ready. Really, I'd say we'd be a cute couple. The hero and the kitsune, living happily ever after with your Oni-sama around. Raise a little family. We already got a house, so we don't have to worry about that. And a guy in my world would kill for a pretty wife like yourself. Inwards I chuckled, knowing all too well that my teasing was taking effect, and yet I was also happy to see that despite her embarrassment, the fox girl's spirit were seemingly lifted. Thank you for saying that, Takani. I'm not that good at high-pitched voices. I think Taka-kun would be better, Machiko-chan. Likely you would disapprove of competition in the elder siblings role, but I'm glad you cheered up. You seemed rather down earlier, like the way your tail and ear were hanging low remind me of a poor scolded puppy. Huh? Oh, right! I was just thinking is all. You know, that spell I wanted to try, the one that needs the silky wedding panties. Wedding sash. It's a type of belt that a bride wears during their wedding ceremony. I doubt any spell involving panties would be a good idea to cast. Oh, I thought it was like wedding undies that you wear on your wedding night. But anyway, the spell, I don't know why, but I've wanted to try it for a little while now. And, well, it's a gate spell. Not like activating one, that's easy, but actually making one, a portal to another place. What's wrong with your brain? It certainly sounds like a fascinating spell to perform, but shouldn't you ensure it's safe first? Silly Takani, that's not important. The spell, it might be able to help you. It might, but it could just as well send me into the middle of the sea, drop me from the height of Mount Everest, or trap me into a volcano. I think we should be a bit more careful with your magic. I'm a good mage. It might be, but it could be just... Oh wait, it went back. That's what Harry said when he told me Atlantis he had a solution to the water shortage. Huh? What's Atlantis? A city with a high ambition, sunk deep by poor management. Anyway, I think it's best we get an expert's opinion first. Oh, okay. What does BS mean? Alright, see you later, Charlie. Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you liked this. It's entertaining for you. I'll see you later then, okay? But I'm not going anywhere, but yes, thank you. You too. So, should I continue? Or should I save? Bye-bye. Alright, I'll continue. A city... oh my god. We're going to visit this Tsuyuri anyway, so maybe she'll be able to tell us if your spell will get me home. What? But Tsu-chan tells me I shouldn't use magic at all. She said it was her domain to use or something. Okay, I'll continue if you like it. I feel like I have to at least finish this scene. Maybe she has a reason for saying that. Like maybe, I don't know, spells have side effects? Just like Onisama was at first. She forbade me too, but I showed her spells were helpful and I controlled them, so she let me do more research. I'm not going to just throw spells around like nothing. I'm not a dumb little kid. I'm not going to try to forbid you from doing anything. You're most likely old enough. Cause, well, I don't know how young a foxy girl like you might be, but beware the dark side of the magic. In most stories, magic usually has some nasty effects down the line. Like, what would you do if using magic gave you a terrible tummy ache, or headache, or diarrhea? Then you better prepare a teleport spell to the toilet. What? I do get headaches, but those aren't really all that big of a deal. And I get to be helpful to Onisama, and I'm not going to change that at all, so there. I already mentioned you didn't need to change that. However, what you do need to change is the fact that you're straddling me, and you're rather close, as I'd appreciate if you could get up. But you're so warm and soft. I could just curl up and sleep on you. Oh wait, don't go falling asleep! Yeah, just teasing you. I'd rather not do that out here. Maybe tonight though. Only fair, since Unisama got to do it. But more importantly than all that, dessert! We need to get back inside. Unisama is probably wondering where we got to with these apples. I couldn't really argue with this girl's impeccable logic. With a smile, I helped the girl to her feet and gathered the few fallen apples into the bucket and stood myself. We returned to Machiko and enjoyed our dessert. Pretty much, yes. It's a visual novel about boobs. We returned to Machiko and enjoyed our dessert together. It wasn't too long after that Micro-chan started to feel sleepy, so Machiko took her to bed, wishing me a good night. Next morning. I awoke the next morning to the sun filtering in through the wind-blind shutters and yawned loudly. The girls had very graciously given me an entire room to myself, and it was certainly a lot bigger than my room back home. It was still early in the morning, likely a bit before breakfast, pretty much. When I decided to spend a short moment to gather my thoughts. It was clear that to learn more about my situation, I will need to obtain the wisdom of the spirit dwelling within the shrine in a nearby forest. Perhaps at the same time I'll be able to discover two more things that I found curious. The first thing was the fact that Machiko seemed surprisingly nervous when the spirit herself was mentioned. What could have possibly happened to make Machiko react like that? The second thing was more important, to solve the problem surrounding the hostility between the kitsune and the village. Of course I couldn't forget about the fact that I needed to find my way homewards also. It was just around the time I finished gathering my thoughts that Miko's voice resounded from downstairs. Takuni! Breakfast is ready! Can you go and call Onisama? Sure, we'll be right there. I quickly made my way outside the room, soon finding myself within one of the quarters of the Kitsu mansion. Once outside, it didn't take long for me to find Machiko wandering down the corridors, her lips curving up into a smile when she saw me. No need to look for me, Taka-kun. Michael's voice reached me loud and clear. Sorry. Good morning, Machiko-chan. Did you sleep well? It was a decent sleep, perhaps a little lonely though. ever. You seem to be getting along with my little sister. Takani, huh? Maybe I should consider you the competition, a rival in the quest of the heart of the dear Maiko-chan to be the most fondly cared for elder sibling. And she seems attached to it. I guess I'll be stuck with that name for a while. Oh, is it not to your liking? Well, maybe you would prefer me to call you darling instead. You were watching us? Indeed. It was taking you both such a long time. I grew rather curious to your antics, so I snuck out. But I didn't see you at all. Well, I am a kitsune spirit. Hiding myself from a human is like playing hide and seek with a child. Then why didn't you two use your hiding skills from the samurai girls? Now that you mention it, the thought had never occurred to me. Well, it was really fun getting chased by them. Plus, Maiko tends not to have a lot of control over her chain. She's far too excitable to maintain an illusion. It is her one magical blind spot. I can't imagine it would have been fun if the Tsundara time caught you both. That certainly would have been an unpleasant scenario to imagine. Then again, I'm sure you would end up saving me, Taka-kun. I could notice a subtle difference in Machiko's voice, the sweet sugar-coated words that caused my cheeks to flush up lightly. I really wasn't good at dealing with this girl's flirting attempts. Swiftly stepping backwards, I turned toward the staircase at the end of the corridor and replied in a hurried tone. Maiko-chan is waiting for us! And with that said, I rushed toward the kitchen with Machiko giggling behind me as she followed. Ah! Good morning, both of you! I fixed up some eggs and toast for you. There's some oranges too. Ah, wonderful. Thank you, Chibiko. You're getting better at this. To be able to wake up with knowledge a pretty girl made my breakfast, it's good to be alive. And perhaps one resting next to you, too. That was a bit of an overkill, especially the conditions said girl was resting next to me. As if on cue, I recalled the sight of the sleeping Machiko yesterday. My cheeks coloring up a little while, I quickly sat down at the table, trying to distract myself by changing the subject. So, thanks to you two, I learned a little bit about your world. How about I return the favor and talk about mine? Any questions you two might have? Oh, yes! I want to know, what are the spirits like in your world? Spirits, you say? For a moment, I tried to think about a question before I replied with a sheepish grin. Well, in our world, spirits are actually something out of folktales, like they appear in stories and certain religions even worship them, but it's not like we got them running around like in this world. Folktales? Worship? Your world is strange, Taka-kun. Aw, that's kind of boring. What about your life? Are you a defender of your village? You said something about judo before. What is that? You mean judo? Well, in my world, people got to go to school. That's basically a place of knowledge where you learn a lot of things before you're considered an adult in our society. But in my world, the defenders are known as the police. They keep the peace and such. I'm just a student. Or you could say that I'm still studying to become a defender, not just of my village, but of my whole country. It was over-exaggerating, but it felt kind of pleasant to call myself a defender. That sounds weird. Are the pool ice like the army, defending the whole nation? Your world is very strange, Taka-kun. I won't call it strange, Machiko-chan. It's this world that is a bit unusual. But no, the police are like the guards of the village, but we have an actual army around to defend the whole nation. Either way, your world sounds like fun, especially if everyone's like you. Anyway, Oh no! no. Oh gosh, dang it. Those oranges have got worms inside them. Ew, 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 ew. Nisama, did you forget